What's up, guys? Let's talk about World War III or end of the world loadouts. You can only have one rifle, one pistol, and one plate carrier or a chest rig. What would you take? In this video, I want to show you my choices. This is my go-to rifle. First time I've shown this on camera. It is a Knight's Armament SR-15 Mod 2 complete upper receiver. I do have it on my PWS Mod 2 low receiver. Has a 16-inch barrel, so I can get good velocity, good energy, and good fragmentation, which is important because in some situations you may only have access to M193 or M855, and in that case you would want a little bit more barrel length. It does have the 3-pronged flash hider, which I do prefer a flash hider over a compensator, just because comps can be pretty obnoxious and louder, especially when shooting indoors or around people, so I much prefer a flash hider. This gas system is in between a mid-length and a rifle length, so it's extremely soft shooting, even with just a standard carbine buffer or an H buffer. I do have the URX 4 key mod rail, which is a very nice rail. I know M-LOK is a lot more popular nowadays, and I do prefer an M-LOK, but I'm not going to change out the rail just because it's a key mod, and I honestly think key mod is a little bit more sexy. But the bolt carrier group is an E3 bolt with the dual extractor springs and the rounded off bolt lugs. It also has a proprietary firing pin and cam pin. However, you can throw a standard mil-spec bolt carrier group in here. I do have a spare one, and you can use a standard mil-spec bolt, firing pin, and cam pin together. The charging handle is a Radian Raptor SD. Probably my favorite charging handle just because the latches give you a lot of traction and leverage. The lower receiver is my PWS Mod 2 lower receiver. It is an ambi lower receiver. I do have a bolt release on the right side. On the other side, I have a Geisselle Maritime bolt catch and release and an ambi magazine release, as well as the Radian Talon safety. For the trigger, this is a TriggerTec adaptable trigger. It's a very nice trigger. It is adjustable from 1.5 to 4.5 pounds. I do have it set about 3.5 pounds, and I will dry fire it really quick. Has a very small amount of pre-travel since it is a 2-stage trigger, a very firm wall, and a very, very light and crisp break with barely any over travel. This trigger has proven itself to me to be worthy to be in a rifle like this. Optics, I do have an Eotech with a QD release, and it's sitting on a Unity Tactical Fast Riser. It sits about 2.24 centerline height. I do run a secondary optic, which is an RMR on an offset Trijicon mount. A lot of people get very mad I put an offset RMR with my Eotech and I don't have an LPVO on here, but I don't use this as a backup optic. This is a primary optic because in certain shooting positions it's advantageous to actually cant your weapon. You can get a little bit more leverage, move a little bit easier, and actually shoot more efficiently if your rifle is canted. So that's why it's on there. If my Eotech happens to go down, I definitely could use it as a backup sight, but that's not its primary purpose. I still have the Magpul Pro sights on here, which are very nice sights, and I do like that you do not need a front sight tool to adjust the front sight. The light is a Surefire scout light. It is a 600 series light, and I do have a dual pressure path, and that's my rifle. Alright, this is my go-to pistol. I choose Glock because I've been shooting Glocks for over 2 decades. They're very, very simple. There's very few parts. Some new pistols or other pistols almost have twice the amount of parts that this pistol has. I can disassemble it in literally under 30 seconds, and I mean the whole thing. I can fix anything on this with a punch. You only need a channel liner tool and a front sight tool to take out, your front sight and the channel liner, but you can't improvise if you don't have those things. The rest of the stuff you can just do with a punch or any improvised tool. So I do really like the Glocks. This is an OEM Glock. It does not look like an OEM Glock, but the slide has been milled up by Jaegerworks. I just have some front and top serrations added. Black nitride finish. I do prefer a black nitride over Cerakote because Cerakotes look very nice, but they do wear down very quickly. Then you have to worry about rust. Suppressor sights, if my optic goes down, can use the tall sights. Holosun 508T, I usually shoot RMRs, but I've had this optic for about a year and a half. Before that, I did have a Holosun 507C, which I literally had like 30,000 rounds on over the course of 3 years or something like that. And Holosun pistol optics have proven themselves to me to actually be a good, viable choice. I do have some stippling done. I did this myself, one of my earlier stippling jobs. Still has a lot of traction, just has a lot of dead skin and dust trapped in the stippling, but still functions. I have a flat trigger. This is a Ranger-proof task force trigger. Pre-travel reduction, small amount of pre-travel, very fast break. Can't really ask for much more than that out of a Glock trigger. I have smoothed out and stoned the internals, however, all the parts inside are factory OEM Glock parts. I do have a Surefire X300. Any fighting pistol or fighting rifle needs to have a weapon light. This is my preferred weapon light. It's a very bright light, and it can also function as an impact device or a standoff device as well. I am running a Safariland holster, which accommodates the Surefire and the optic. This is my plate carrier. It is a Cry Precision JPC 1.0. Does have level 4 plates inside, so I do get very good protection. In the front kangaroo pouch, I currently have 3 20-round rifle magazines. I have 2 17-round Glock magazines on the side. I do prefer to have my pistol mags on my carrier instead of my belt, just to keep weight off my hips, except a pistol. On the side, I do have a tourniquet and a small package of Quick Claw, and that is in a Tactical Tailor radio pouch. If a radio is not in there, I just throw a tourniquet in there for easy access. On the side, I do have a double rifle pouch with 2 more 20-round rifle magazines in the back pouch just for storage. And this one, I have batteries, 8 123A batteries for my Eotech and my flashlights, 2 batteries for the RMR, and 2 for my Holosun. I also have a multi-tool in here, a lighter, and a small thing of weapons loot. If you go to the side, I do have a rip-away IFAK. I do have it positioned kind of on the far right side. That way I can grab it with either arm. I do have it oriented upside down so I can grab it a lot easier. I'll show you the contents. I have shown this before, but I will show it again. Right here I have another soft T tourniquet, a large package of Quick Claw, and some compressed gauze. I have it right here where I can grab it very quickly. I do have a decompression needle, some trauma shears, a Sharpie. In this pocket I have some duct tape, an emergency blanket, and I have 2 of the large packages of chest seals. On the other side, I do have some nitrile gloves. I have a 3rd tourniquet, which is a rat's tourniquet. It's very small, and you can throw these things basically anywhere because they're so small and light. And if you know how to use these, they actually work pretty well. I also have a nasopharyngeal airway and a large emergency bandage and some antibacterial wipes. And that's my plate carrier. This would be my primary loadout if I needed every possible advantage. Knight's Armament rifle, Glock pistol, and my Cry Precision JPC 1.0. Not the entire loadout, just what I have in the video. Let me know what you guys would choose, and I'll see you guys in the next one.